Welcome to Simply Life and Truth, a channel about personal growth and student lifestyle.
The subject of creativity always intrigued my mind. I always thought it was based on artistry and all that, but creative living is for everyone. A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life. It's an expanded life. It's a happier life. It's a life driven by curiosity. So in today's video, we are going to cover about how you can live a creative life. But this is going to be inspired by one of the books that I've loved, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is about creativity beyond fear.
In the book, creativity is described as a relationship between human being and the mysteries of inspiration.
Courage is the first ingredient to a creative life. For you to live a creative life, you have to be courageous, you have to be brave. It is doing something that scares you. The trick says that the righteous as bold as the lion. You have to be courageous enough to do the things that you want to do. For the path of a creative life, all lies on this principal question that, do you have the courage? Do you have the courage to bring out the inner jewels that are within you? To step onto a creative life or the path of creativity, you have to have the courage and the boldness to live out your best possible life. Knowing that creative living is a path for the brave, it's key to know what being brave can bring. When you're brave, you actually have the courage to know what's within you, to know your capacities when you're brave enough. When you're brave, you can actually know the world richly. You can actually choose not to live a small, normal life, but you can choose to live to your full capacities and purpose. Let's talk about ideas. There are so many ideas in the world, but we ought to know the power of ideas. There are so many ideas that hit us every single day. There are some we ought to embrace, there are some we ought to let go, depending on the seasons of our lives or depending on the place we are in at that time. Ideas come, but when you allow an idea to come to you and to embrace it, when you accept this idea to be carried out by you, then you enter into a contract with inspiration. In part of living a creative life, you have to know that there are ideas. Most of them don't have a physical part to exist. But when you enter into a contract with an idea, you give it life. You bring it forth. There are always so many ideas running around. And when you embrace one, you give it a living, you give it a physical existence. These ideas can occur to different people at the same time, multiple discovery. Or if you don't embrace them and actively work on them, they can actually go to another person. So in part of living a creative life, you have to know which ideas to take on, which ideas to let go. But in all this, you have to work on it with devotion, with love, and with a commitment. Permission. That's the third ingredient to a creative life. You don't need the permission to be a creative person. You don't need to be given permission. You don't need the suggestion box, as the book says. In life, for us to live a creative life, we have to know that if I say you need the permission, your creator already gave you. He told you to be fruitful, to take dominion. That's enough permission you need. For you to live a creative life, you have to know that you have the right to, not in an arrogant way, but you actually have the bare right to live a creative life. You have the right to chase after your dreams, to do what makes you happy and brings you back to life. I'm very sure that's what everyone wants for you. So if you need permission to have a creative life, there you have it. Persistence. Persistence is the fourth ingredient to a creative life. In living a life of creativity, you must know that there are risks and sacrifices. You may not get the perfect place or the perfect time in your busy life to live actually a creative life, but you can actually fold it into your normal daily life. You can actually choose to wake up an hour earlier or 30 minutes earlier than everyone, just to have a place for you and your creativity. You may actually write a book or go out to a morning jog, whatever brings life to you. You can actually sacrifice a little time for it. In reality, it has so many demands. Sometimes we actually kick off our creativity aside things that bring so much life to us, but yet you can actually fold it into your normal life. If it's gardening, you can do it maybe on the weekend, something like that. But then you have to know that you don't have to pressure your creativity. You may not have it bring you money immediately. It brings you money, well and good, but then you don't have to overstrain it. You can actually do it without expecting money in return, as long as it's something that brings life to you. And if it pays you off, well and good. Trust. You must trust that what you make loves you. Most of us love our work. We love our art pieces, we love our writings, we love our cakes in case we bake, whatever. We love our plants. But do we trust that the work that we make loves us back? You must trust that what you make loves you back. In trusting that your work loves you, you must know that creativity is a gift to you as well as to the audience. You must enjoy the process of doing something. For example, in making this video, I enjoy the process, like literally the whole of it. But even after doing it, I must trust in it and let it out. I must trust in that I've done my best and let it out. So you must trust in your work. Most times we look at perfection, and sometimes perfection can actually hinder us in bringing forth our work. You must trust that your work is good enough and you let it out there. So trust is very important for creative life. You must trust that whatever you make loves you, and also be ready to share it with the world. The world needs to see, no matter how you think it's imperfect. Divinity. Divinity is the last part of a creative life. All of us ought to know where we come from. You must know your identity. You must have a place where you belong. You must have a place where you belong and are accepted. And you must know what you believe in. In living a creative life, it's very important to know what you believe in, to know what you stand for, to know in whom you have believed, let me say. So as you set out on this journey of a creative life, you have to know things that fully define you, in that in the process you're not defined by the rest. A place where your values are well established. At times, let me say, like your phone gets broken or something, you go actually to the actual person who has knowledge about it, say the maker. Or in case your car is, you go to someone who has knowledge about it. So even as us, we have a maker. So you ought to know where you come from, you ought to know your maker, and to also draw your identity from him as you set out on this path of living a creative life. If you've liked the video, and if you have other ways of living a creative life, you can share with us down below in the comments. And also, if you have liked the video, don't forget to share it, to like it, and to subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.